Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and to Les Brown's Motivational Monday Night Call, your place for motivation and inspiration with world-renowned speaker, author, coach, Mr. Les Brown, featuring Mr. Brown and his platinum speakers. My name is Dr. Stacy N.C. Grand, and it's my privilege and pleasure to be your host for tonight's call. I want to first start out by shouting out the city of Charlotte, North Carolina. Les Brown, myself, Ona Brown, and Mari Santana, we were down there doing a speaker training this weekend with an amazing audience of individuals, some who are on the call tonight. I miss you all already. It was an engaging, inspiring, and results-driven training. So I want to thank Charlotte for all the love that we received. Mr. Brown, we're so excited to meet some of you in person and get an opportunity to help you expand your voice. So stay tuned at lesbrown.com, where you can find out more information on upcoming programs and events. We'll be in Ohio in the month of November, so you want to make sure you connect at lesbrown.com, as well as brown.les, that's brown.les on Facebook, where you can get your daily inspiration and find out how to purchase your copy of the 12 Laws of Success. So thank you for all the support. Mr. Brown is appreciative that you continue to keep him in your thoughts and in your prayers. He's receiving all the love. He is feeling so much better. He is back on fire. And thanks to you, to the family, to the community of voices all over the planet, he gets to continue to do what he's doing. And as he said this weekend, which is an honor, no success without successors. And I'm honored to be a part of those who are carrying on the legacy and helping to find those voices of hope literally all over the globe. But tonight, I want you to take out your pens and paper. I want you to tweet it, text it, post it, that everyone needs to tune in to Les Brown Motivational Monday Night Call, because we have a special guest, someone who has been on a campaign of information sharing for the month of October. But I want to tell you a little bit about her before we get started. She's a transformational coach, a motivational speaker. She's an author. She's the founder of YouAreWarrior.com, and she is a two-time breast cancer survivor. Not one time, two-time breast cancer survivor. She's dedicated her life to helping others discover the inner warrior during life's most difficult journeys. Diagnosed with breast cancer in 2007, and then it returning in stage 4 in 2009, she beat the odds with stage 4 breast cancer and now 7 years cancer-free. When I tell you she's a driving force, an unshakable belief that she has to help others discover their own inner warrior, she's not just talking about it, she's living it. I have had the privilege of knowing her. She felt like a long-lost relative, a sister that I never met, because her passion around transforming people's lives, helping them to stand in the warrior inside of them, to conquer life, and stand on top of the mountain and tell their story, continues to inspire audiences all over the world. You'll learn some more about her, and you can visit her at Bershan.com. But tonight, I get to introduce and interview the world-famous warrior herself, Bershan. Are you on the line, my sister?
Wow, if that wasn't an introduction, I don't know what is. Thank you, Stacey. Girl, I'm like, oh, I want to meet her.
Well, I'm only telling the truth. And Bershan, it's such a pleasure to welcome you to the Les Brown Motivational Monday Night community. This is a family of individuals who are cut from the same cloth. They tune in every single Monday, coming to find words of alignment with where they're going in their life, the things that they're looking to do. They're attracted to the voice of Mr. Brown and his work, and those of us that work with him in changing people's lives. And we don't normally have people who are not part of the Platinum family on this call, but you're so dynamic. You're so powerful. I said we have got to introduce you to this community because you're in demand. You're traveling the globe literally every other day. And for you to take time out of your schedule to come and share a part of your story tonight is an absolute blessing to us. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the introduction. You know you're my sister forever, and like you said, sister from another mother. I mean, we can be cloned as twins, so thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I love you more, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, what I want to do is let this audience know about your passion around awareness. And, your story is Incredible. 2 times you conquered breast cancer, and stage 4 the last time. Just tell the audience a little bit pre-cancer, pre-everybody knowing what it is that you're doing now. How did your story begin, and how did you get here to be able to share your voice on platforms around the world?
Thank you for that question, because I rarely get to do pre-cancer, because it really rocked my world. I was a young girl, came to New York City as a writer, an actress, and I did a little bit of speaking, volunteer work speaking, because I was always a big mouth, right? I love people. And I owned a restaurant in New York City, believe it or not. So I was a restaurateur, while my dreams were happening, writing screenplays and acting and modeling in New York City. So my passion, I've always been a New York lover, and I always wanted to help explore. I was an artist, right? So it was always about expressing myself and expressing my feelings. So I used to go and speak at homeless shelters, believe it or not, just because I had met someone who needed someone to go and speak and motivate homeless women. And so she had came to my restaurant. I had met her, and so we hit it off, and she said, "Oh my gosh, I run a program. I would love for you to come and speak." And I used to go there and speak at homeless shelters like every other Monday. But it's so interesting how I thought that I was going there to save them. They were really saving me. The stories, and you see beautiful African-American sisters, Latinas, Asian, white, but it was like, I thought I was going there to motivate them and tell them they can do it, because I owned a restaurant, and I was young, and I was an actress, and I was a model. But really, these stories of hope and of survivorship really changed me. And so that is really how, if you want to bring it back, how my whole story of speaking globally took off, because me going to help them changed my life. And so, it was an eye opener. And so on this journey, while I would go there every other Monday, one day I felt a lump in my breast. And I remember to this day, it was a Saturday, and I was like, oh God, okay, let me go to the doctor. Let me go. I got to go Monday morning, because this is Saturday, because my mother had passed away from stage 4 breast cancer. She found out in August. She died in November.
Wow.
Thought she had, and think about it, at 22, people don't realize that African Americans get cancer more aggressive. I don't know why, especially breast cancer. We get inflammatory, we get it aggressive where it spreads and metastasizes. So when I felt that, I immediately had to go to the doctor, because I flashback. And I remember going to the doctor, and the doctor said, you're too young. Don't worry. I was 33. Don't worry. And this was like 9-10 years ago. This is when people weren't really getting diagnosed a lot. And I was like, no, I just want to keep on getting checked, because I feel a lump, and it feels hard, and it doesn't feel right, because I was constantly feeling on my breast, because, my mother had gotten diagnosed. And I remember going, they sent me to get a sonogram. And I remember, they didn't know what it was. And they said, but I don't think it is. Everyone kept saying, you're too young, you're too young. And they sent me to get a biopsy. And I remember the day. This was when I was all by myself. And you shouldn't do this, be on your own, going to get a biopsy or anything. You should have someone with you.
Absolutely.
Always have the support, right? Don't do it on your own. But I was too embarrassed. At 33, I didn't want to be known as the sick girl, Stacey. I didn't want people to be like, oh, she has cancer. You know how when it was, oh, are you okay? What do you need? Now everyone, I didn't want that. And so I remember going to get a biopsy, and I remember the doctor telling me to sit down. And she said, you've been diagnosed with breast cancer at 33. And so that was sort of my in-way into how this happened. I was going and speaking at homeless shelters. I was running my restaurant. I was, a young girl in New York City, living the life, trying to, get a name for myself.
Wow. So in the middle of doing you, and people on this call are in different places and stages in their life where they're growing, and it might not be a diagnosis of breast cancer, but something else that has come that they didn't expect, and have to make a decision. How do you deal with that? I can't even imagine at 33 feeling almost at the top of the world, like you kind of conquered the 20s. So you
Mm-hmm.
feel a little more mature, and you're getting into a groove, and you're financially doing things that you want to do and feeling like the world is your oyster. And then you sit down in a doctor's office and hear the diagnosis. And we can get paralyzed by such conversations. Maybe it's a loved one passes away, or someone gets a diagnosis of cancer like you did, or a relationship goes bad, or they're just in a bad space or a challenging space of learning, and you had to make a decision. Bashan, what did you do after you left that doctor's office? You got this diagnosis. What was the next step for you? Because you kept it a secret. You didn't want anyone to know, and usually that's what we do, which is the wrong thing to do, is
That's
keep it to ourselves, because you can't isolate yourself when you're going through something, because we can't do life alone.
And so, and you're absolutely right. And that's why I really speak out about asking people, what is the cancer that's going on in your life? Not the disease, but cancer that's eating away at you. Whether it's abuse, domestic violence, whether it's, you're dealing with a bad marriage, you're dealing with physical or mental abuse, you're dealing with another illness. What are you really going through? You see, I was a people pleaser all of my life, Stacey, so I was never living my truth. And when you don't live your truth and you don't speak up, it metastasizes in your body. So that was me, right? So that was me trying to be the happy girl, trying to be the people pleaser, trying to be the girl that had no issues. I was the girl who had a mask on. And that's why when I did that thing on Centric, remove the mask, remove the real mask that you're going through. So to answer your question, what did I do after that? I went and I told them I didn't want to get chemo because I was afraid. I didn't want to not be able to have a baby. I didn't want to be pushed into menopause. So I did my treatment. I did radiation. I got on my pill, and I didn't say a word. And I'm telling you, that's not what you do. You get help. You get somebody to go in there, ask all the questions. Because it's overwhelming. You can't think of everything to say. What do you do? And so I went on with my life. But here's what happened, Stacey. My back started hurting. I couldn't move my back. It was like day by day, I couldn't bend down. I couldn't move to the side. And I was like, what is going on with my back? I tell you, I went to every doctor in New York City, wellness centers, chiropractors, exams, everything. I went because I was trying to, they even had me believing that I failed sometimes. Because I'm like, why is my back, you start believing in it now, like maybe I did fall. I'm like, because they couldn't figure out what was wrong. Until the doctor said, why don't you get an MRI? We've done everything and we can't figure out what's wrong. Get an MRI. And that's when I went to Columbia Presbyterian. I couldn't even bend down to pick up a pot. I got an MRI. And I remember this, it was the same month I got diagnosed the first time. This time was April 26th. The first time was April 16th. I went in, get my MRI. I went in the office. This time I went with, because we were trying to figure out what's going on, I went with my husband and my stepmother. And the doctor came in and said, sit down. Again, here we go. And he said, you've been diagnosed with terminal breast cancer. You've been diagnosed with stage 4 terminal breast cancer. It had metastasized throughout my body. And Stacey, when you hear something like that, it paralyzes you. You want to say stuck? Stuck. I like, that is stuck to you. I couldn't believe that it was my life. I couldn't believe that they were telling me about me. Because why me? Really? Because my mother passed away from terminal stage 4 breast cancer. So I had gotten it. That just couldn't be my life. Like, what did I do wrong? And you ask the questions, what did you do wrong? Why me, God? I'm thinking I didn't have kids. This was 2 weeks before my wedding. What am I talking about? I wasn't married. It was 2 weeks before my wedding.
Wow.
All of this right before my wedding. And I remember the doctor saying, he was so cold, and he said, well, do you believe in miracles? And, I remember saying, Hell, hell yeah, excuse my language. I believe in miracles. I believe in God. And I'll see you in 5 years. And throughout this whole process, I'm 9 years cancer-free, no evidence of disease.
Wow. Look at what a story. I tell you, every time you tell it, it goes straight through me. It's not the first time I've heard it, but every time you say it, I just can't even imagine that felt like getting such a cold diagnosis too from the doctor and saying, no, I'm going to fight. And clearly that's where your warrior spirit really came out. And now you're on a mission trying to help women get checked and get the preventative care that they can. And even if they get the diagnosis, what to do. So I applaud you for not just fighting your own battle and succeeding and being cancer-free these years later, but now you've turned it into a movement. Can you just tell us a little bit about You Are a Warrior and what you're doing with getting the word out to so many women whose lives you've saved because you started to share your transparent story?
I love it. Thank you. So I have a Check Your Boobies movement. So it's hashtag CYB Check Your Boobies. I'm so passionate about women and just checking in with themselves. So I always say, what is your cancer? Because whatever you're dealing with, you know what? Get the help, get the support, hire a coach. Don't let it eat away at you because all it is anger, anxiety, doubt, worry. It metastasizes in your body. So I host this. I have a free ebook. It's free, you guys, free at Bershan.com, Bershan.com. Bershan.com, and I give you the tips on what I did. I give you the things that I did for myself, and the movement is to share and tag 5 other friends and hold them accountable. Have you gone and got your mammogram? Did you get checked? Because we die. You see, the numbers, they don't want us to know the numbers, but the numbers are rising. Every 2 minutes in America, you see how passionate I am, right? Because I want us to live. I don't want, and that's why I coach women. I coach their family. I support them through their issues because every 2 minutes, someone in America gets diagnosed. And you see, we don't think it can happen to us until it happens to us. This movement, Stacey, because that Periscope we did, you know how many people called me? 25 people went to get checked out. 4 people were diagnosed.
Wow.
Had never gotten a mammogram before. At 44, one was 45, one was 48. At 48, I was like, what? She was like, I don't like doctors. But you see, it takes someone to really be passionate and push you guys. So everybody on this call, and remember, men get it too. 1 in every 1,000 men get it. I had a guy call me 2 nights ago telling me I coached him through it. He got diagnosed with breast cancer, a black guy. 1 in every 1,000 men get it. 1 in every 8 women. So if you at a dinner table with 8 women, 1 of you will likely be diagnosed.
Wow. Wow. When you put it that way, 1 in every 8, and men too. And the men that are a part of this audience tonight have women in their lives and really pushing to get checked. And it's important because it's preventable in some cases. And at least if you know how to treat it. And I just applaud you for this work. Bershan.com, Bershan.com. Get the free ebook. I mean, you share in there how you were able to fight back and pull out that warrior spirit and do things different in your life so that you can be here to share this story with us and to let us know how you've been able to survive. Because like you said, what cancer is eating you? What do you have to move past? What do you have to fight through so that you can hold on to this precious thing called life? And you didn't have to do this, Bershan. You were moving on, healthy yourself, and building a career and doing fabulous work, but you turned around and said, it's not just about me being healthy, but how many other people can I help and how many other people can enjoy the life that was intended for them if they just check their boobies. So I love the CYB. I love what you're doing, and I just am excited about the fact that through the Periscope that we did and the continued work that you share, that women are finding out and they're getting the treatment necessary.
Women are finding out and they're getting the treatment. And imagine if you just tag 5 friends, tell them to visit Bershan.com, get the ebook, tell them to do the work, tell them to check themselves, tell them, you know what, because there are so many sisters out there who are afraid. They just don't want to do it. Have them contact me. I'm telling you, people email me. People go on my Bershan.com, and they go, and it's a space where you can contact me, and they contact me, and I'm willing to help. I you know what? I realize that I'm blessed, man. I'm so blessed, Stacey, that I can speak around the world on stages. And like I said, I'm off to Nigeria, to Switzerland, Australia. I can do that. But you know what? I never think I'm too busy to take the time to help another person out. That's what's more important. You know what? Because it's not even about me. It's about helping another person out, saving a life. If I could do that, you could do it too. And if you could do it, somebody else can do it. And we will really change the world.
Absolutely. And that's what I love about you. And that's why this opportunity to bring you to our family here at the Les Brown Motivational Monday Night Call was so important to me. The month of October might be ending and all the breast cancer walks might have ended, but the need for education will never stop. And we're just so grateful that you've taken time out of your schedule to join, to share and tell your story. We never know. Someone listening might be encouraged now to make that appointment, to go get checked, to share it with a friend. All the men that are listening, to inspire their mothers, their sisters, their brothers, their wives, their girlfriends, to make sure, and they themselves, to go and get examined, because we never know when these things will show up in our body. But if we're armed with the right resources and information, we can take real action. And this hits home for me in so many ways, because I'm currently going through one of my closest and dearest friends, different form of cancer, thyroid, but yet still cancer that is, thank God, treatable. But if we didn't get it checked, we would never know. So it's so important to go out and find out that information so that you can fight. One of the young ladies you heard earlier on the call, Bershan, Karen McFadden, she is a health coach, and she loves to get information out about the truth about cancer, different ways that we can heal ourselves without some of the additional medication. There's so many resources, so many things out there, and if we are exposed, then we can help somebody else. So visit Bershan.com, tag them, let them get curious about finding out information on how to get checked, and encourage 5 of their closest friends to do the same. So, Bershan, I know that you are busy and you have another commitment, but if you have a few moments, I would love for us to take a few calls or questions and or comments from our audience tonight, if you have a moment.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, of course. No.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So, everybody, I'm going to unmute the line shortly, and then we will be able to ask a question or share a comment with Bershan before we close out tonight's call. And we thank you for being here and being a part of this experience, because I know, and I'm confident in my spirit, because we brought her on here, somebody's life is going to be changed. So stand by, everyone.
All callers are unmuted. All callers are muted and may unmute themselves by pressing *6.
Okay, that was close. I almost unmuted all the calls, and we wouldn't have heard anyone. Who's there? Go ahead. Tell us your name and your question or comment. Yeah.
Hey, Stacey. This is Myron.
Hey, Myron.
How you doing? LaShawn, is it LaShawn? Is her name correctly?
Bershan. B-E-R-S-H-A-N. Yes.
Bershawn.
Yes.
Bershawn.
B-E-R-S-H-A-N. Sorry.
Bershawn. Well, I say I'd love for you to pass my email on to her, because of my mother passing away with pancreatic cancer that happened so fast. I just want to took some of the fluff out of the game, and I created a free financial cancer screening. I'm not talking about the physical part, but the financial side. And I go into every way I can. I said, okay, let's do this. By the time you get up to a week or 3-4 weeks later, 66% is coming out of the pocket. It's a beast. So I bring that awareness to the side of the financial side. So I love for Stacey to pass my email on to you, and I do this I do this out of a passion.
I will definitely connect Bershan with you, Myron, because we know the passion around your work and some of the other things that you're doing, and just helping to get the word out. So I will definitely do that email connect, but go ahead and visit Bershan.com and tag some of the women in your life and challenge them to go get checked.
I love that. Thank you, Myron, because that financial piece is really needed too. Yes, it is.
Yes, so I will make sure I connect the two of you.
Okay.
Awesome. You're welcome, my love. And let's see, there was someone else trying to unmute. Just press *6. I see them trying to get their line up. Just make sure your line isn't muted, and then we can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Now we can. Go right ahead, beautiful. Who's calling? Tell us your name and your question or comment for Ms. Bershan Shaw.
Thank you so much. And I want to say to my beautiful sisters and brothers as well, thank you. And my name is Lovey. I am calling from Washington, D.C., and I just want to say thank you. Bashan, I just found my voice. I just found my voice. And so to be a part of a call like this, to hear other women so strong, I just want to say thank you. I'm going to go get checked just because you told me to. And so whatever happens, if I find out I do, I thank you. If I find out I don't, I thank you. Because now I know that there's other women out here who have stories of conquer, stories of faith, and this just motivates me to use my voice in the way that I'm supposed to through my individual challenge. And like you say, it may not have been a physical cancer, but it's another type of cancer. And I appreciate every motivating, every inspiring, faith-filled word you all have to say today and moving forward, and for all the lives you've touched. And so I just thank you. And again, just have to use my voice tonight because I found my voice today. Thank you, sisters. I love y'all. Have a wonderful
Thank
day.
you.
Amen.
Awesome. We love you, Lovey. That's what we want, girl. We need you to
That's
get
what
it
we want.
out.
Get it out.
This is why we do what we do. We're just holding the space for you and for everyone else who has a voice, who has a story. Don't take it for granted that everybody already knows or your voice doesn't matter. Your voice matters. There's billions of people on this planet, and each one of us give each other strength. And when we shine our light, we help to make the world brighter and a better place. So congratulations to you, Lovey, for finding your voice. Thank you for being here. Thank you for going to get checked. Tag a few of your friends at Bershan.com so that we know the message is getting out and we're doing our part to bring help and healing to our community. So thank you so much.
I love that. Thank you.
Absolutely. I saw one other person trying to unmute before we wrap up tonight's call. Just press *6 to unmute your line.
Hi, Dr. Stacy. This is Karen again. Thank you so much for shouting out the truth about cancer because you know my passion about that. And Ms. Bershan, continue to do what you're doing. I know you're very close with Lucinda and them. I was on Periscope that day. And just continue to get that word out because it's so important, especially us as women of color. I cannot stress that enough. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I want to help our people because we need help.
Absolutely, Karen.
Absolutely right.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for what you're doing. Once again, like Lovey, you found your voice, you're sharing it, and we're getting the word out. So we appreciate you being here and what you're doing, and just excited about how we all come together collectively to make this world better. So,
Thank you for
awesome.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Awesome. So we'll take one more person, and then we're going to start to wind down tonight's call. I'll give a few announcements and send you on your way to have an amazing rest of the week. It's the last day of the month of October, so my birthday turned up. Womp womp. It's coming to an end. I celebrate all month. I told y'all to pray for me. And now we're on the verge of the November babies getting ready to celebrate and finish 2016 strong.